Out here taking inventory of all my vessels, as you could say. 10-foot boat, I like it for the river, but it's a little bit small because I'm looking to add a surface drive mud motor to it. It's a little too small. So I'm headed off right now to go pick up a used, old, kind of beat up 12-foot John boat, Operation Fatty River. Here we go. This is a used 12-foot, pretty raggedy looking John boat. He said there's some leaks in the rivets. I've already talked to a welder. He said no problem. He could tack all that up for me. They were listing this thing for $175 on Marketplace, and he agreed to take $160. So we're already out to a great start, getting a 12-foot John boat for only 160 bucks. So that's pretty good. Even if it needs $100, $150 worth of welding, I think we're still gonna be pretty good shape. All the other 12-foot John boats, man, you guys are proud of those things. $300, $400, $500. That's just the boat, not even a little trailer. And a lot of these things were rust buckets. So I don't know what the deal is with John boats being overpriced, but hopefully the leaks are minor and we can get those patched up. Hopefully I don't get mugged or robbed up in here. Let's see what this boat looks like. Strap down. It definitely needs a little bit of work, but he said it should float. He says there's gonna be some little leaks around some of these rivets, but I think I'm gonna grind all that and get it tack welded up anyway. But I really like how light it is, because what I'm doing with it, I do not want a heavy, deep, real heavy duty, like tracker type John boat. So the light weight is very good as long as it doesn't flex too much, which I don't think it will, but if it does, I can always come in here and add some extra support beams to it. But I'm pretty happy with it. 160 bucks, can't beat it. I can definitely tear this up on the river and not be scared to hurt it. I'm gonna leave it loaded up because we are goose hunting tomorrow morning, me and Dad, to close out the season. I'm gonna throw it on that pond and see if it floats. We'll find out, but we'll see you tomorrow. Find out if it floats. I like that little bit of extra length. Which is nice. All right, so this morning when we went out goose hunting, we did get a little bit of water in the boat in just the 5 minutes it was in the water. So we've got a leak somewhere. So we are gonna put it on the trailer over there, fill it with water, see if we can find the leaks. The fella said it had a couple leaks, but he thought he had patched it up with some JB weld. Yeah, we got a little bit of work to do here. I think I'm gonna grind that entire rib on the inside off on the outside and just weld that entire rib where all those rivets are. So there's a couple of leaks in the bottom where these rivets are, a couple of leaks here. Well, that wasn't bad at all. So I first off started by just power washing where I had identified the leaks. But once I realized how easy those fiberglass little patches came off, I went ahead and attacked them all, whether it leaked or not. So I've got all the rivets power washed down to bare metal, and they are all loose. You can tell this boat's been beat up. So the plan is to get these rivets welded up solid and tight. That way I don't have to worry about leaking ever again. I don't have to worry about that fiberglass ever flaking or peeling off as I wear and tear this thing. That didn't take 15, 20 minutes. Even found a crack right here that was hidden with a little bit of fiberglass. But I think the welder will be able to patch all that up pretty quick. The other thing I noticed was there was a lot of fiberglass on these corners back here, and it looks like somebody bolted on some diamond plate, or screwed it on rather, at some point. And I could tell there was a few leaks definitely right here, and now I see why. That drain hole plug is all cracked right there. Put a weld and build that back right there. We'll just cut out the diamond plate right here. Should be able to get all that tightened up really nice once we cut it out and weld it. So I don't think this is gonna be a very big job as far as the welding is concerned. And it'll definitely patch up all the leaks I could see, because there's no major like hole damage anywhere. Right there was just a hairline crack, but water really wasn't even coming out of that joint. So I'm glad to see no gouges and deep gashes or really deep dents in this thing, as old as it is. Folks like to do time-lapse videos of some of this work, but I'm just using an angle grinder and coming around to where all the JB weld was all gobbed up and grinding all that down to smooth metal. That way the welder can go straight to work. There were some miscellaneous screws just ran into these corners that were real pokey under here. I grinded all that off. And right now I'm just going around cleaning up all the areas that can get welded. That way they don't have to do any grinding, because he bills hourly and he can just go straight to work. These were a bunch of little screw holes that were unnecessary. I'm gonna have him tack and fill all those in, and then I'm gonna put my own brand new 2 handles up here to pull from. Plan was just to have the welder come in here and weld up this seam where they added this diamond plate. But the more I'm looking at this diamond plate, there are holes all in it. And this JB weld hold, I did not realize, actually goes all the way through that diamond plate, through the wood into here, which is no good. That's a giant hole. So I am actually going to see if I can pull this diamond plate completely off the back and rebuild the back of this transom, because I do not want to do all that work just to have a major leak spring up below the water line. Got all the screws out, except for a couple of them I had to grind off because there was JB Weld all in the threads there. So let's see if this thing's gonna come off of here. I think it's gonna come off. Does not appear to be glued, which is good. Kind of like demoing an old house. You never know what you're gonna find. Yeah, I'm looking at wood right here. So I'm gonna have to weld a whole new back plate on here. But that is okay. I just did not like what I was seeing here with this, whatever this is. The poor man's transom. And there we go. Good old Delta aluminum truck box or something. This is what I was talking about. Look at these giant holes down here below the water line. Here, screw holes here, another big hole here. I don't know what they had going on back here. But there are major holes, and I can already see some metal damage. Right there it is. So I'm just gonna need to go ahead and clean all this up and let him weld a solid back on this thing to seal all this up. Trying to get the last of what is clearly a waterproofing. This was not an adhesive, thank goodness, because that would have been a pain to get off. This is some kind of rubberized waterproofing. I think they were using just to seal up all these leaks and then try to stop the rest of it with that back panel. There we go. Drilling out the last of these 4 rivets because I'm betting there's a surprise under here. There you go. Damaged bench. Somebody bolted through and leaned back and broke that aluminum. So I will figure out whether I want to replace this bench or fix that. But I don't like that. That's kind of raggedy looking. I think what I might do, I've seen guys online come in here and they'll cut this out and actually put a hatch door on here to pick up a little bit of storage in here, because I do not anticipate sitting here much. I think I'm gonna be standing a lot. If anything, I'll actually be leaning on an elevated seat right here. So I might just cut all this out and put one of those hatch doors here for some storage. Let me just unscrew this bracket just to see what I'm working with. Well, it wasn't even connected. So that transom little bracket support there was doing nothing. So glad I took that off. We're definitely gonna have to shore this thing up. Just ran these screws out real quick. I think what I am gonna do, because this thing is flexing real bad at this crack here. Got all these holes here, some big old random cut here. I'm actually just gonna flex this back and slide in a piece of 1/2 inch new plywood behind here. Not marine grade, not treated. Treated wood and aluminum will pit each other. It'll pit the aluminum rather. So I'm just gonna get a regular piece of 1/2 inch plywood to tack on here to stouten up this entire transom. And I think we'll be in good shape there. And then put some 5200 or something behind it to glue it to it and just run a few short screws through it. Look at all the hardware that has came out of the transom of this boat. Just all kinds of miscellaneous non-stainless steel junk here that were already rusting out. So I'm so glad I decided to go ahead and go all the way through with removing that back, getting all that rubberized mess off, and getting ready to put some wood on here. Gonna wrap up this first part of the video where we have acquired the boat, kind of went through it, checked it out, leak tested it, and now have it ready for the welder. But until the next part, as always, thank you guys for watching. God bless, take care.